Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Law episode 9. And Charles and I are going to be talking about our family. In the last episode, we kind of left off with Charles and his boundaries with the kids being in our room or him not wanting them in our room. And so we're going to talk today about our kids and kind of give a little bit more of background into who we are and the different dynamics that we have with raising our children. I guess by the time they see this episode, it'll be airing on Thanksgiving Day. And so,
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
absolutely want to take time to talk about what we're thankful for. And of course, it is our family, and a big part of our family is our children. And we have a blended family of 7 children,
Plus two.
plus two. Well, plus five grandchildren, but the youngest 2 grandchildren we have permanent custody of. And so that plus two is now starting
9.
all over again.
It's 9.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, starting from the top, do you know everybody's name and ages?
I
Okay.
know everybody's name. I forget my own age, so kids don't take
Wow.
offense.
Okay. You do the name and I'll do the age.
Willis,
36,
Tasia,
33,
Sherrod,
30,
Ayana,
26,
Kiana,
25,
Anicia,
22,
Charles,
10,
Tegan,
2,
Amara.
1.
I think that's all of them.
That is our very big blended family. When Charles and I met, I had 5 children and he had 1. And throughout the course of our relationship, his daughter has came to live with us, went back with her biological mom, and came back and forth. But we were very integral in raising her, obviously, and her living with us for at sometimes years at a time. And then we got grandchildren and raising those grandchildren permanently. So it is a big starting over.
It feels different. It hits all the way different. I mean, you go from a 10-year-old one day to now you're back to one and baby food and changing diapers and sleep schedules that don't match yours. And then a year later, you start over again.
This is true, but even before we got the grandbabies, let's talk about what it has been like raising children in different generations. Again, there's a 36-year-old and there's a 10-year-old. And we've been together for 19 years.
Hmm.
We've been married we just celebrated our 18-year anniversary this month, on November 12th. But we were together a year before that, so 19 years in total.
Mhm.
And raising children who are
19 years. That sounds.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, we've been together 19 years. So, but raising children of different generations, it has been very. What do you think are some of the biggest differences from 19 years ago to raising like Charles is 10,
This.
but Willis is
The
36.
biggest difference is the social media. I think 20 years ago, it was in its infancy, and now it is somewhat of a standard. It's the common is that everybody has social media. The uncommon thing is that most people don't have social media. I think that's been the biggest difference, but also at the same time, personalities. That's the biggest difference. And I mean, the way that you treat one child, you can't necessarily do it with the other one. Some strive in academics and others strive in athletics, and some kind of fit in between. And you have to parent that child to whatever their strengths and weaknesses are. So yeah, social media has played a part. I guess the biggest difference, but just their personalities overall. You had some that were the same when it came to the teenage years.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so Charles is 10, but how different was that for a 10-year-old then versus what we do different with them now? Well, I think one of the biggest differences now is that Charles has a cell phone
Yeah.
at 10, and nobody else could get a cell phone because it was a lot newer. It wasn't now kids getting cell phones in elementary school. He has a cell phone at 10, and his siblings, who love to remind us that they couldn't get a cell phone until they were in high school, but it's a different time now.
The other thing is,
That's
I
a
think
huge difference.
the driver's license. Kids don't care to drive now, opposed
But
to
that's not a difference between them. I'm saying, what is the difference
then and
between?
now.
Yes, but none of them rushed to get a driver's license then.
What Tasia did kind of was a little bit more vocal about getting a driver's license. They're more excited to get cell phones now than they are to get driver's license.
That is true, but I guess what I'm asking and asking you specifically about how different we parent Charles than we did parent the other kids when they were his age. Like the all the three called the three amigos, the Anicia, Ayana, and
Kiana.
Kiana went all through being 10
Mm-hmm.
with us together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and how differently we raise them than we raise Charles now is what I'm saying. One of the differences is they're girls as opposed to boys. They weren't allowed to do sleepovers, and I'm still not a fan of sleepovers. I don't mind other children coming to my house, but I'm not a big fan of my children spending the night at other people's house. And we've loosened up on that some with Charles. I don't know that it's necessarily because he's a boy as much as it is that Charles, for the large part, is being raised as a only child. He has older siblings, but they're not in the house. Anicia and Charles, of course, are opposite gender, but Charles is 10 and Anicia is 22. And so Anicia moved out when Charles was 6. And so he's been the only child in the house until we got custody of the two baby girls. So how we raise him and just wanting him to socialize and have children his age. We have some very good friends that have children his age, and so we've loosened up on the spending the night. The other kids had each other, so they had a house full of kids, a house full of noise, and it was the whole house moved in a way that was geared around having a bunch of kids. And so we've moved a little differently, having Charles as an only child before we got the babies.
But then also, I think one of the big things is time versus money.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
had a lot more time then than we do now. So some of those things are, as salaries and finances have increased, we have less time. So you have to be a lot more intentional. Where things were a lot easier when we did at Christmas, we did the Christmas cookies.
Hmm.
And that was kind of a tradition that we always did. And I would kind of sit back while everybody else decorated their cookies and did that kind of thing. The other thing
Which they're
is,
already asking, are we doing Christmas cookies this year or the gingerbread houses? Because we're going to do one or the other. Have a competition of who's going to create sugar cookies and have all the different icings and toppings and make a bunch of original cookies, or we do houses and see who can be the most creative with this gingerbread house.
and since normally I'm watching TV, I get to be the judge. I don't eat the cookies, but judge who did the best on at the end. I
But
mean, just
this was one of the conversations that Charles and I had yesterday, and our son is out of school for a week, like a lot of kids for Thanksgiving. And I'm telling him, and so again, because he's primarily as an only child, the older 6 siblings are all grown and gone. They have their own places, and they're literally working on masters and getting ready to start PhDs. Like they're on their way, and and Charles is in 5th grade. So a lot of his friends from his school, they're online playing games together. They're online or they're texting in these text groups or chat groups, and it's all of them together. And that's how he connects with his friends, unless they come over and spend the night, which they do sometimes. Um, but I was just telling you yesterday, we have to be very intentional while he's out on this break to make sure that we can carve out some time to just spend some time with him. Do you hear him upstairs?
and
I
it's
hear his,
and I don't know what
I
he's
hear his
doing,
his feet upstairs, like you can hear him walking, like boom, 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 boom,
jumping
boom,
around.
boom,
That
boom.
that that's the other part. That hasn't changed. When they have a video game, the boys they're jumping, flipping, rolling over. Ooh, ooh! You'd have thought that they were in
A wrestling
a
match.
wrestling match. The way that hasn't changed. I don't know. Again, the boys and the girls are a
But
little different, but at the same time, some things remain the same.
but this is one of the things I was saying yesterday. We have to carve out at least 3 days that we just do something intentional with him, not being in the car on our phone planning some event or doing something and he's just in the room, but one on one with him, like he loves Monopoly, the card game Monopoly. He loves Uno No Mercy, like card games and board games and stuff. But we have to make sure that we set aside some time,
But that
even
and
this
that's
break.
one
You
of
have we have to
the
be so
biggest
much
things I
more
was saying
intentional.
is the time. The time is something before, and you can even rewind it back even further than that. With that first child, you had a lot of time and no money. So it was one of those things that it was easy to take them to the park or to take them to the library or to sit down and watch their favorite show. And then as you furthered in your career, it became, all right, now I don't have the time to do those things. I'll take you to the amusement park, but it's not the daily routine of I can sit here and
Hmm.
have those conversations. So now it's a lot more intentional the time that you have with them because you don't have that much time. So it will be the Monopoly deal. And Charles is one of the biggest trash talkers I know. And
I
I
wonder
keep
where he get
telling
that from.
his mama. So I keep telling him, you're going to need to you're gonna need to learn how to fight. Cause buddy, the way that
Okay.
you be talking trash, you gonna need to get it together. Somebody gonna my saying upside your head the way that you be talking trash. And but he does it from a good place. A lot of people, I
We
don't
don't
think any
condone violence.
we don't, but I think a lot of people always say, "Oh, well, do the kids go outside?" I don't. I think that's a big difference too. Of now with the tech age and day and age with the social media, all the video games, the cell phones, kids used to go outside a little bit more. It wasn't there were toys, but I think that past generations lended itself to go outside more, ride a bike, those sort of things. Where now it's I can sit in front of a computer, I can get on a video game, I can talk to somebody on the phone, I can FaceTime. And that has been also a big change where no one's going outside anymore like that.
One of the biggest differences I think with having a blended family is having the children in different ages. I feel like we do more now than when we had a house full of kids. When we just have Charles, it's just us and Charles. And again, now we have the two babies. But when we had older kids, they had chores. And everybody's like, it was a lot easier to have six kids in the house. It was one person that was assigned to the kitchen, one person assigned to bathroom, somebody assigned to
And
the
Charles don't know
floors.
what a chore is.
Well,
He knows what
just
a chore is, but he doesn't have the same consistency that the other ones did.
Well, he doesn't have that consistency because we don't have that consistency with him. But the older kids, when it was six of them, we were consistent and it was more people to help. So older kids had chores and they were consistent about them. We're all over the place with Charles, and so he doesn't have a consistent chore because we're not stationary like that, or he has a
But
lot less rules.
majority of the time, when those first set were in the house, it was the very beginning of when we started the business. So your schedule was again with the time. We had 9 to 5. So the time that we had was a lot more consistent opposed to the tail end with the last three. We
Well,
had
I was you have to speak for yourself on that because, again, we got married in 2007 and I opened the firm in 2009. So I've been in it since 2009. So when you say it was the beginning of when we started the business, I opened the firm in 2009. You were with me, of course, in the first 4 years, and then you went to the fire department for almost 10 years. I still had the firm, but I was operating as a solo practitioner. And my primary role was being a parent, and being an attorney was just my job. When Anicia graduated and went to college, then I decided to shift a little bit because it was just Charles in the house, and now I'll put more time into growing the firm. And so that's when that shift came from being primarily a mom who happens to be an attorney to being a mom who now I'm going to run and scale a business. And so that was a big difference. But with that scaling of the business came more resources financially, but a lot less time. But I mean, I've always had a firm and the kids, but it was a very different shift because, again, I was a solo practitioner. I didn't have employees. There was no,
that's what I'm
18,
saying.
20 people.
You had more time.
Yeah, I had more time, but I'm saying you said it like I just started the business. Like it's a recent thing that I had the business. It
No,
was just a
no.
different focus of the business. It was a different focus of the business. And I think just having the different generational kids helped a lot. The older kids helped a lot with the younger kids, and now when we need some help, those same kids we're asking them to come from their homes to our homes. Can you come watch the kids? Can you come help out with the kids? That's very different than them living there and saying, "Hey, you know, babysit kids. Like we gotta go do
What's the
something."
biggest change you think as a parent that you've tried to change from learning from certain things?
With
What have you changed, I guess, as a parent for the better that you feel like that you lacked maybe with some of the earlier ones?
I am a lot more intentional with Charles about planting seeds for him to problem solve, and that's always been big for me. But working on his mindset and problem solving now, I'm a lot more intentional with him about conversations about making sure that he believes in himself, that he can do certain things, and let's do that, and being positive and making sure that he has a growth minded mindset. We have a lot more conversations than I did with the other kids about his ability to do things, and that old adage, if you think you can or think you cannot, either way you're right. And so I just want him to make sure that he stays focused on that belief and understand that he knows he can do whatever he wants to do. When the other kids were younger, if they would have said something like, "Oh, right now he wants to be a gamer. I'm going to be a YouTuber rather, a YouTuber." And in my mind I'm thinking, "No." But in my conversation, I'm saying, "Okay, well, what does that look like?" And that's very different rather than me trying to gear you somewhere. I'm just going to support him and say, "Well, what does that look like? Okay, well, let's figure this out," because I believe at 10, he's going to change his mind 10 more times. So there's no reason for me to dampen his dreams and tell him, think of something a little bit more practical because it can be. It's just not familiar to me. So I'm just, because I'm a lot more developed as an entrepreneur, it takes a lot more mindset and personal development coaching that we both do. And so I'm a different person and therefore a different parent with trying to speak to him about problem solving and without using the word affirmations, but instilling positive affirmations in him.
Mm. What about the grandbabies?
What about him?
What
It's
do
the
you?
same. It's the same. I'm just saying because the grandbabies, well, we have 5 grandchildren, but specifically the 2 that we have custody of, it's no different. They're my grandchildren, but of course we parent them as if they are our children. They live here every day. So as far as the girls, it's the same thing. And our granddaughters are biracial, and that comes with a different. You love them all the same, but to me, it comes with a different set of responsibility. As a black woman, I feel it's very important for them to understand some of the distinctions about being biracial and not shying away from the differences of them as biracial because I'm not biracial. But you have 2 sides. You have your mother's side, which I know nothing about, but I think it's very important for them to know their mother's side because that is half of who they are. And so trying to think about how to make sure that they are supported and educated and have a lot of resources and people I can lean on in that department. Raising them with love is not an issue, and education and health and opportunities is different. But I want to make sure that I do right by them because they're biracial, that they have access and understanding about their mother's side too.
Hmm.
hmm
What about the teenage funky years? Tell us the difference about that.
Well, what do you mean? Tell them the difference. It hasn't happened
Yeah,
yet for
is
the
it what
babies, but
I'm
so tell you the
saying?
difference.
When you're
What?
saying what is difference between, I guess now and then, and how we're just getting ready to enter in that with the 11-year-old, have you noticed that there is a difference? But when they start going into the funk,
Well, Charles will be 11 next month, so we have a 10-year-old, but he'll be 11 next month. I don't think it looks any different. He you can tell he's starting to smell himself a little bit, and going into that pre-puberty phase. But again, for me, I now in all honesty, I think you handle it exactly the same. Like this, to me, what I see is the machismo and you soft. You gotta can't be this way. And for me, I just have never been that way. I think that it's more conversations. And I remember when we
Well, I think that's why it's great to have two parents. It's because
Mhm.
you get one side where that one may coddle you and the other one that it's not. But I
I
feel
don't think
like
I'm coddling him.
I do. But I think that's why you have two parents because you get two sides,
Hmm.
and where one's lacking or one's has the strength, then it helps with the teamwork. But
I'm a lot more conversational.
you are, and a lot more coddling as well.
Good hug helps everything.
There's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes we were raising a young man, and one of the things that I had to tell him about was, just for instance, we go to the barbershop and he doesn't want to speak to anybody. He's, hi, look, man, you go up, get the barbershop pound, give him a handshake, and that hugging everybody, that's his mom. I can appreciate that he's affectionate. Um, and there's that side of him, but also at the same time, there needs to be some. He, Mom is very conversational, but when it comes to Charles talking to someone, it doesn't transition the same. So getting
What
him
does
out of
that
it.
mean? What do you mean?
If he goes to, if there's a new person,
Mm.
Charles does this. He'll do this thing where hi.
Yeah, he's kind of shy and bashful.
But any other time when he's at home, brothers and sisters, man, you ain't nobody. You ain't got that riz. I'm the alpha. Da, 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 and he's saying all this stuff, and I feel like he
But
has a
that's
big
a difference. He
personality.
has to know you. If he doesn't know you, he doesn't know the barbers. He doesn't know them by name. He sees them every now and then because you cut his hair half the time. So when he goes there and get a haircut, he doesn't know them. And with an adult, he's gonna be hi. He's the
He,
same way with children. He don't know either.
but we've been going to that barber shop for years now. So
Hmm.
I feel like you should have been further along. So whether or not it's a mom is going to say we're going to do it this way, dad said we're
Not too
going to do it
much.
this
Not
way.
too much. Ease up on my baby now.
I'm not. I'm not.
This
That
is
that's
see this because
and I
this.
don't want to push him too hard at the same time. And sometimes Tessie will say, "All right, you can't." And the timing of it always isn't the best, but I get the gist of what she's trying to tell me. Maybe not in that moment, but later on. But again, we're two parents, and the way that she does it sometimes I don't agree with, and the way that I do it sometimes she doesn't agree with. And hopefully, between the balance of us doing it, we'll raise a pretty awesome adult.
It's not that I disagree with how you do what you do. Um, I think that you do an excellent job with him, for sure. My thing is, I think that you parent him in chunks. Like, oh, you're a preteen. Let me switch, and now you should act like this. And I'm saying it's a little more gradual. I'm saying when you say, oh, when you walk in, you need to say, what's up? And you need to give everybody a dap and do the. You made this decision when he's 10. If that's how you felt, you should have been teaching him that when he was 3 or 4 years old.
We
And there
we
was never a conversation. There was never a, you didn't insist on any of this. You have to shake everybody's hand and dap them.
I didn't insist on it, but it was something that at 3 and 4 years old he kind of did it and then got away from it.
Okay, but I'm just saying then you should have made sure that that's a, for instance, you and I, it's very important for Charles to address adults with a handle. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Darrell, Mr. Whatever. And that has never changed. I'm saying if when he was 3 or 4, if he should have been shaking people's hand as an introduction or dapping people up as an introduction instead of hugging, then that should have been consistent. Now you make a rule and like it's effective today and think that he's going to remember it today. And it just anything with the parenting when you make a decision and this is how we're moving forward, I think you should reinforce it a little
Well,
bit more over time and not
agreed.
get mad and that like it's a
I'm not mad, but
if
just
he
like
doesn't.
things will change. And at 4 and 5, when you're hugging your buddies, that's I don't really see a problem with it. When you start to be 11 and 12, and you trying to hug your buddies, it's different now. Um, it may not always be appropriate. So now that you're transitioning into another age bracket, yeah, it did work before, and it was okay. I'm not saying there was anything wrong, but now, yeah, you need to transition. You can't you, hug your boss. You can't hug coworkers. Not saying that there won't be situations and times that you can't do that, but you can always give them a handshake. Now, family members a little different, but I understand what you're saying. For the time, it worked, and now you're getting a little older. It doesn't.
I understand. I understand. I'm a hugger. I still hug
Everybody.
everybody. I know. So I'll take a seat back and let you handle a lot of that. Just you know.
Yeah,
Be
and
gentle with my baby.
one of the difference, in the side note, now we have the granddaughters that are in the house. Potty training Charles was a lot easier with the boy than the girl, just for the simple reason of you gotta go. Go ahead, go right there. We'll
This
figure it out.
man had my baby peeing outside at trees. They gotta go. He put
He
look, I'm
went
a
to a tree.
fountain. He pull them out in the trees and parking lots
He
and
went to the tree though. He at least walked to the tree and he didn't get pee on the door. We're winning.
y'all say I'm country.
I think most men, if the option is they're by the bathroom is 100 yards away and you're outside. I can't
Most
speak
men,
for.
I don't think most men would. Okay, we're getting away from the top. I don't think most
Well,
men
I'm
are
gonna
gonna
teach.
pee under the tree. I think they're gonna go inside and use the bathroom.
They
We're not in the
may.
middle of the country like on
We're
a
not in
fish
the middle.
creek.
We're
What?
not. But
What is that?
for a 3 year old in the yard, the house is 100 yards away. Buddy, go right there by that tree. We're gonna figure it out. You got potty trained pretty quick.
That's somewhere between country and lazy, but we're gonna leave that there. Like go inside and use the bathroom and wash your hands. And you said it's a mom dad thing.
Go wash
It's
your
a lazy
hands.
thing.
Convenience. Nonetheless, we digress.
Yeah, we do. So talking about the babies in the potty training, as we have mentioned before, we have 5 grandchildren. This microphone, as we have said before, we have 5 grandchildren, 2 grandsons, and 3 granddaughters. The youngest of the grandchildren live with us. The youngest two.
2 grandsons, 3 granddaughters.
Two, did I say that? What did I say? I said it backwards.
Yeah.
2 grandsons, 3 granddaughters, and it's such an interesting dynamic to have custody of the 2 youngest granddaughters because our oldest granddaughter is 8. And so it's always an interesting balance for me because the youngest two, Tegan and Amara, are our grandchildren biologically, but we're raising them as our children, of course. And Marley is a traditional granddaughter. She's 8, but she doesn't live with us. And so I just always struggle with the balance of what do we do with Marley because I don't want her to feel left out. Like we do more for Tegan and Amara than we do for Marley. Like Thanksgiving, we're hosting Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna buy the babies outfits to wear for Thanksgiving. And so I feel obligated, or not obligated, might not be the right word,
That's
but
the Libra in you. You want to make sure that everything's fair and
yeah,
nobody feels left out.
I don't want
I
Marley
can
to feel
appreciate
left out.
that.
I don't want the 8-year-old. I don't want my oldest.
But it was something similar that we did with the younger three. When it was you got one some pajamas, you had to get everybody some pajamas. And as I learned early on, get them all the same color pajamas because now if you get different ones, I want the red one. I want the.
Well, I don't feel like they have to be the exact same. It just it depends. But
Well,
if
I'm
I
just
buy
saying
pajamas, I'm gonna buy all 3 of the
that.
Kiana, Ayana, and Anisha. I will buy 3 sets of pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a pink, blue, purple, I'm fine with that. But I'm just saying I'm if I get one, but it's the same. But this is different because those were our children and we were raising them. We're raising Tegan and Amara, but we're not raising Marley. So Marley is more of she's a traditional grandchild, and so we don't like swim lessons. Are we supposed to do everything for Marley that we do for the 2 that we raise? In my head, I say no because we're raising these 2. We're responsible for them like they're our parents. And I don't feel like I need to do everything for Marley that I do for Tegan and Amara. But then I start to
I
feel a little guilty,
I mean
like,
I
well, maybe
agree.
I should.
We don't do everything the same, but I think for more of the major milestone moments for the Christmases, the Thanksgivings, the bigger events, you do the same.
Hmm.
On the day to day, it's just I think it's not going to be as possible to do the same things day to day. But when we're having a family function, then and everybody's going to be there, then I would somewhat lean a little bit more towards we're going to do everything the same for the grandbabies, including Marley.
Hmm.
Um,
But it is so different raising adult children, not raising, but having adult children and a 10-year-old. That's and babies, and the biggest difference is the problems are bigger. Everybody's so I can't wait till my children grow up. You never stop parenting. And it's more of a role of guidance now than anything, but the problems are bigger. You know.
they're bigger, and the financial problems are bigger. It's not a hey, can I get 20, $30? Can you pay this bill, this big ticket item? But I mean, at the end of the day, though, I can also appreciate having those adult children now because it's now you can also help me with some of the bigger things like, hey, I need you to help with the mother for a day or two because we have this event to go to, or hey, can you pick up the kids from school or daycare, and they're responsible enough to do it, and I'm not so concerned with how you drive. It's hey, let yourself in the house. Can you make them dinner? Can you, along with the responsibilities, I guess, or the things that they need of us now are bigger, I can now lean on them as well for those bigger things too. So I mean, I appreciate it both ways.
For me, it's even bigger than us helping them and them helping us. It's just a very different conversation. Now we're having a lot of mature adult conversations about their careers and about where they chose to buy their
And
homes.
even having children,
Yes, fertility. We're having conversations around fertility,
investments.
and yes, it's a very different. Just books, reading this book about careers, and so
But
it's
it's
been very
fun.
full. It is.
But
It's
it's
been
fun to be
very
from a
full
different place. Like
circle.
it's exciting when you see like they turn in that corner to,
Mhm.
hey, I'm thinking about getting a house. Oh, are you? That's what's up. Or hey,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about going to grad school. Okay, okay. Or hey, I got accepted into this new um degree and I'm gonna be starting.
And
It's
and our children are such a wide spectrum of personalities. Um, one of my sons is gay. He has a boyfriend, and even they're having conversations about the seriousness of their relationship. And it's just so many different personalities and nuances. And I've learned so much about the LGBTQ plus community and during this process with him, and like just mental health, whether it's depression, like they're such unique people, and you can raise a person, and then there's the person you raise, and then they blossom, and they have such different personalities, and just it is such a I don't even it's just like such a potpourri mix of people, personalities, with all the different unique edges around them, and it's fun 99% of the time. A lot of responsibilities, a lot of conversations, but a lot of love. And I am thankful for every up, down, twist, turn, curve. It's been such a wild journey from 15 and pregnant
hmm.
to here for me. 15, I've been somebody's mom. And so it's just been interesting. It's been an interesting ride. And you would not think at 15 that this is where it would land. 7 kids, 5 grandkids,
Counting.
and counting, because only 2 of our kids have started families yet. So to see where the rest of them end up and how the family turns and twists, and now we're growing this firm, and it will become part of our legacy and how we transform our future through our family and what we introduce and expose them to and how we lead them. So, it's just something to look forward to. It's been great.
So at the end of the day, we are thankful for the family. Thank you for the memories. Um, we thank some of y'all for watching and tuning
Some of
in.
y'all.
And yeah, some of y'all, I speak it like it is. I'm thankful for some of y'all, even the ones that don't always have the positive things to say. I appreciate you because the negative things just let me know I'm doing something right.
Okay. Thank you to everyone for following, like, subscribe. If there's anything that you guys would like to talk about or like for us to share with you, we are here to do that. So we really, really appreciate all the support. It's been 99.9% nothing but love and support. And so thank you all again for sharing this journey with us on Love and Law.
Hey, fellas, it's Charles again with TDE, Family Law and Divorce Attorneys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, tell you what we're here to do. But I understand that you're probably looking at this because you're going through some type of situation that we can assist you with, whether it's your baby mom, whether it's your soon-to-be ex-wife, whether it may be just a parenting thing that you're going to help another family member with out. Um, it's trying, it's stressful. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so nothing's going to happen quickly. The other thing that I want to point out to you is we're here as a resource. Whether you watch our social media ads, whether you tune into our podcast, you can like and subscribe, but hopefully from watching this, there's going to be more information that you can get. One way that you can get one of those resources is just by calling our office. We have people that are there to answer the phones, and they may be able to point you in the right direction. I know that you may have friends or buddies that have went through the court system and you're like, I'm absolutely against child support, but your child may be used as a pawn, or maybe your kindness is being taken as hostage. I'm here to tell you that me and our group of attorneys with a greatly skilled team are here to help you. Look us up on the website, and then from there you can schedule a call. Yes, sometimes these things can be expensive, but anything that you feel is worth it, you always find a way. And if you find your way to our law firm, we are here to help you through it.